Hello and welcome to this quick episode of Rantz. It's Crisandro, of course, and it's just a quick video, really, just to say that the season is finally over. Uh, Started off all right, and then had that fantastic moment where we went top of the league, um, and held on to it for a good month or so. Did very well in getting them playing some good football, or playing some okay football, functioning football, and winning games. And then after Christmas, it just kind of went straight downhill after the defeat to Liverpool, and then just carried on going downhill from then on and then on. And we never found ourselves in a position where we couldn't win a title. We then lost the League Cup final in the most weirdest fashions after sacking Jose Mourinho 6 days before the actual final, uh, you know, lands, and then more defeats upon strange wins, and then it all culminated in this situation today where we find ourselves having to play Leicester for a chance to finish in the in the Europa Conference League, which, as you know, is not you know I haven't got an opinion on it. It's a new competition. I have to see how it all unfolds, but turns out beat Leicester. Ironically, it stopped them from qualifying for the Champions League, especially after Chelsea lost. So if they had beaten us, they would got through. But again, they fall at the final hurdle when everything's in their hands. And in our case, we couldn't qualify for the Europa League, couldn't qualify for the Champions League, but we have qualified for the Europa Conference League. And I don't know what that would mean for the new season. I'm not quite sure how it's going to be structured in a similar way to the Champions League and the Europa League, where they're all divided into 8 groups of 4. If so, then fantastic. It means not too many games. I'm not quite sure if we qualify straight for the group stages or not. I have no idea. Because there's only one qualifier from England, but I understand that it's for these smaller clubs to actually build themselves up into the into European football. So chances are we might actually have to qualify for this tournament. I don't think it goes straight into the groups. So our coefficients means absolutely nothing in this competition. So we might have to qualify as a pre-qualify, and that could be an issue, especially if we have to start as early as we did this season to qualify for the Europa League. But yeah, so we finished 7th in the end after beating Leicester 4-2. A brace from Gareth Bale, who came on as a substitute, but also goals from Harry Kane and an own goal from Kasper Schmeichel, or it might go down as a Davinson Sanchez goal. I have no idea. Interspersed, uh, well, the Harry Kane's first goal was interspersed with 2 penalties from Jamie Vardy. His first goal in about a month, I think. He hasn't been scoring regularly. He's been off the boil for a bit. So they went in 2-1 up, and then we turned it around. I guess Ryan Mason signs off on a victory. Good on him. He came in to do what he needed to do. But the problems are all literally down to our own making, really. I mean, there's no other way I can dress this up. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have an issue with your manager, like apparently with Jose Mourinho and all the stuff that's coming out in the press now about his methods of training and whatnot is all coming out now as a kind of justification for sacking him when it did. You don't sack your manager 6 days before a cup final. A manager who knows how to win trophies, a manager who knows how to pretty much beat the best out of his players. Really, that's the best way to describe it. I mean, he did it at Manchester United. They may complain about him, but at least they won a couple of trophies, and they also came close to winning the title. Um, he never really got that opportunity with us. 15 months in charge. Yeah, what's it going to do with that? So yeah, I mean, so he got sacked, and then we brought in Mason to just steer the ship as best he can, and we've held on to players the last 2-3 years that have now made sure that they've seen off Pochettino. They've also seen off Mourinho. At what point are we going to get rid of this deadwood and actually, at what point we're going to get rid of the players that are causing the issues, and then we're bringing a manager that actually will be able to bring in his own teams of having to pay to pay good money and to place good money on top of bad. Bringing in all those players, but still have a run of players that are literally just going to do a bottle every big game that comes across. I mean, if you've seen the post in the group where I think it's next September from Lily White Spurs, where they kind of talk about players who say they want to leave Spurs so they can win trophies. They've had numerous opportunities at this club in the last 4 or 5 years. They've had a Champions League final. They've had 2 League Cup finals. They've had 2 FA Cup semi-finals. They've had a League Cup semi-final as well. They've had 2 title challenges. I mean, you may come on and say that, it's because of underinvestment. That only works up to a point. It only works up to a point, I'm telling you. Because you can say, oh yeah, in January or in July, underinvestment and whatever, even though they spent about £250 million since winning as far as the Champions League final. The £250 million spent on players, so you can't say there's underinvestment there. But the fact that we don't bring in maybe not the right type of players at the start. I mean, Nombele is growing into himself at the moment. Lo Celso is not. It started off well and then it's kind of misfiring. A lot of players are kind of like having issues at this point in time. But yes, well, yes, at that point in time, they were, you say that under investment, and that gets parked after the January window because at that point you're not getting, you're still in the early stages of competitions. At that point, from January to when the window's closed, you then have to play a few more rounds before you get to the final of the League Cup. You play a lot more rounds before you get to the semi-final of the FA Cup. You play a lot more weeks in the Premiership, but before you can challenge for the title, and so on. So you can talk about underinvestment. I mean, maybe be a get out of jail card for many fans at this point in time. But when the window closes, then you get down to the hard work and you get to the position where you're challenging for these trophies, and we fall down every time at the final stages or at the penultimate stage. And then so your get out of jail card can't be, well, there's no investment. You get after the January window is closed, you get to that stage. So we just had so at this point in time, it's a case of trying to find out why we are. Well, I already know because most of these players played under Pochettino, sorry, and under Mourinho. They have no flipping bottle in there. They have no strength no mental strength. They literally don't. And there's a case of I think they find that nice and cozy where they are at Tottenham, and they have no real need to try and take that one step further. And then a lot of these players that have been intimating about wanting to move on, when it comes to the big games, they don't show up for the most part. So they've had opportunities. I mean, Harry Kane, he hasn't publicly said that he needs to leave to win trophies. I know he said that he wants to achieve them at Spurs, and that's literally as far as it's got. But he's been in a couple of finals himself. So it's all very well and good trying to blame anyone and everyone for our lack of success. But the players get to this stage, and the players then perform on that stage. So at what point are you going to say everyone's involved instead of just making sure that the blame stays in one part but never in another? That's the issue we have here. And so you have to try and that's a balancing act. I mean, I said that there's a good few number of players in our squad that need to go, and they need to go, so that we can actually bring in players of a different kind of mentality and different kind of outlook, and we actually can kind of build up what we have, or build up any kind of momentum that will see us challenging at the right end of the table, see us challenging for titles, see us challenging for trophies. That's what we need. And so right now we don't have that because I mean, I don't want to start naming players, but there are about 8 or 9 players I would love to see leave this club, and there's one or two that haven't played that many, but they're still in the background, still sniping away, still talking, still bringing the squad down. And even Kane, I think, I mean, there is a video going around I think it's a GIF around of Kane mouthing the words "What's the fucking point?" Um, that was during the game against Aston Villa, and he's looking around and he's seeing players, decent players, that don't seem to give a shit. And his performance hasn't been that good. I know he scored today, and but his performance has not been that elevated ever since this whole news has broken about him wanting to leave. But it's just, I'm just glad that the season's now over. I mean, from the highs of being top of the league, and even though we were winning games, we didn't look that convincing, I would say, but we were getting by and doing enough, and that's probably what I needed to see. I just needed to see. Kind of convinced myself that the players were learning to win tough, and actually learning to be gritty in order to get the 3 points. It just turns out that we're just kind of riding a luck for the most part. And it just probably just wasn't what Mourinho had envisaged. I mean, you'd see. I mean, those first 6 months would have shown him that there is a lot more work that needs to be done. And I don't know if he was trying to do the whole rebuild. He was trying to do the whole rebuild at all. But this is, and when I say the whole rebuild, I mean trying to get rid of the deadwood and bring in his new players. I don't know if he was able to do that, was allowed to do that, but I saw how happy he was when he brought in those 5 or 6 players during the summer window. Excuse the banging; it's just there's things going on next door. I do apologise, but you know, and I saw the happiness on his face. But at the same time, there are a lot of players there that needed to go that didn't go, and we saw a lot of them have. I mean, there's a good few players that have been there for a good number of years that have just kind of gone backwards. And so, if I was to suggest that, that they should have gone in order to ensure that players that have the skill set that we require come in or are able to be brought through. I mean, hell, we mean got lots of youth players there that have a bit more heart than some of these players do. That could have that they could have been brought in, and then we could have had a much better season than we ended up having. But in the end, Mourinho was sacked. It was before a cup final, and we ended up going down, 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 losing the cup final in the most ignominious of ways, and then going further down. People talk about ended the season on a high. How did we end the season on a high? Finished 7th, the lowest we've finished in 11 years. That is not ending the season on the high. It's a poor, poor season, and I can't understand the celebrations that have come from today. What? Because we finished with Arsenal. Whoop-de-doo. Wow. Brilliant. Whoa. But we finished below Chelsea. We finished below West Ham. But hey, at least we finished above Arsenal. Hey, nothing in this season has made me happy, and I'm just glad that the whole thing is over. But we shall see what happens in July. I mean, after the Euros, we shall see what happens. We need. Well, we'll bring you the video once a manager is in place, and we'll discuss what will happen because of that manager and whoever it is. I mean, favourites look to be Ten Hag, and we won't be Nagelsmann. Get that idea out of your head. It won't be Nuno Espirito Santo. Get that idea out of your head as well. It'll be probably Ten Hag and probably Brendan Rodgers. There is a little tip that I might put out there, which I don't know if it's true. Well, I doubt it'll be true or not, but the idea of a manager who's recently left his club and who has um, experience of managing in England and who knows how to win trophies and who's young enough to take the club forward. There is one manager who's left recently, and I'm not saying that he's outfit. I'm hearing something on the grapevine, whatever. I'm just my thought of it, and his name is Edin Terzic. Um, he's a German manager, of Croatian extraction, 38 years old, has recently left Borussia Dortmund. and as interim manager, although he's been in the management based job there for 3 years. Last year as interim manager, first 2 years under Lucien Favre, and in this interim position, he managed Borussia Dortmund to third in the league in the Bundesliga, managed them to the DFB, the DFL by Pokal, which is the German Cup, and then he got them to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. He stepped down recently at Borussia Dortmund, from what I understand, and he fits that profile quite well as the manager that Spurs might be looking for. But I don't know if he's even in the reckoning for it all, because I don't know how good his English is, but that's another little thing to look out for. But all I'll say is that if he does become manager and no one else spotted it, but I found that, I'll be absolutely pissed off I didn't put a bet on that. That's all I'll say. I mean, the discussion's in the group right now, so we'll see what happens. But I can't get excited about next season purely because of how we finished it. And the only thing I can think of is that we need to concentrate on getting a manager right now who will take us forward, and then we'll discuss which player comes in. All these stories about players coming in, who we're looking at, this and the other, doesn't make any sense when we don't have a manager in place. But anyway, I shall leave it there. It's let's just say that this depressing season has come to an end. I'm grateful for it. I'll probably enjoy watching the Euros now without any kind of expectation, and then we'll see what happens in July. Maybe we'll get news of the new manager in the next couple of weeks, and then we should discuss it then. But until then, we finished seventh in the league. We're now entered into the new Europa Conference League. That's all I can say. But yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. Let me know what you think of how the season's gone. Let me know what what your thoughts and everything I've said, and then leave a comment below, and then we will hopefully hold a discussion. In the group there will be, and also on Twitter, we'll launch our Tottenham Player of the Season um, awards. You know how we do it. You know, each category, the favourites for each category goes into the main pool. So goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, striker, or forward, I just say. Winner to that will go into the main group, which will then get voted on, and they'll produce who we think as a group, who we think is the player of the season for us. And so that will be launching in the next couple of days. I'm just glad the season's over, man. We finished 7th. Europa Conference League, here we come. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you for listening, and you'll take care.